All right, it is now 6:30, and I will call our meeting to order. Ms. Branham, did we notify the media?
We did.
Thank you, and I do declare that we have a quorum with all board members present. We will need approval of the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? All those in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, I do want to welcome everyone tonight. I appreciate you being here to support District 55. And the first thing I'd like to do tonight is take a moment of silence for Leo Epting that passed away 2 weeks ago, a ninth grader at the high school. So if you will join me in a moment of silence for him, please. Thank you. I appreciate that. If you will just keep his family in your prayers. And as usual, we're going to start with Tell Me Something Good. You want me to start? Kidd? Yeah. Do you want to go first?
That's the way it looked.
Yeah.
So I had the opportunity to go to the Assisted Technology Expo in Columbia a few weeks ago, and I went for myself. But while I was there, I saw a lot of stuff there that they had for the district, and I know we had someone come from the district, so I hope that they were able to find a lot of helpful tools for our assisted technology that's needed.
Mm-hmm.
So I think many of y'all know I have 3 kids in college this year, and come May I'll have 2 graduating. That's 7 weeks and counting, people. I'll have 2 off the payroll. Well, one's coming back home. Oh well, we'll figure that out. But yeah, it's exciting for my 2 of my kids that they'll wrap up their graduate degree and start thinking about seriously where they're going to go from here. So it's an exciting time around the Jenkins family.
Fantastic. Mr. Carter?
Yeah, normally I don't say anything, but I will tonight because I got something I want to read. Because I'm worried about us going backwards. But I want to read this. Remaining teachable may be one of the most difficult things we can do. The Bible speaks of having a teachable heart that's open to God's wisdom. The portrait of Proverbs paints a picture of 2 women calling out to passerby wisdom and folly. Those who listen to wisdom receive correction with grace. They add to their learning and becomes even wiser. They habitually walk in the way of insight and seek themselves at wisdom table of instruction. Their obedience leads to a full life. In contrast, those who listen to folly hate being corrected or criticized. They insult anyone who tries to instruct them. Humility comes from fearing God, acknowledging that He's the Holy One, and we are not. It's not easy to stay teachable, but it's also bringing freedom to admit we don't know it all, and we still need help. Wisdom calls to us. Our question is, how will we respond? Hallelujah for that.
Thank you, Mr. Carpenter. And my Tell Me Something Good tonight is that last week one daughter had a spring break and I got to hang out with her for a while, and this week my second daughter is having spring break. So I got to hang out with her a little bit less because she chose the beach instead, but that's okay. Jody?
So, I'll lean toward the weather because we've been blessed with some gorgeous weather over the past few days, and was able to really enjoy time outside and around the house and getting some work done. So very much enjoyable there.
My something good is about my grandson Cameron. He's a kickboxer, and he will have his pro date in April the 11th in Tennessee.
My something good is that not many people know that I went back to school, and I am one step closer to graduating, and we are almost.
And Fantastic.
one step closer to graduation in the spring. So I'm excited.
My something good is I spent all day Saturday putting a jungle gym swing set / monkey bars. The good news is I haven't broke anything yet. My anger management classes seem to be working.
Fantastic.
Seem to. I ain't finished.
That's right. Wait for it.
All right, thank you, everybody. And now we're going to have a student from Lawrence Middle lead us in our pledge, and I'll let Ms. McElveen introduce her student.
We have two great students who serve on multiple committees at Lawrence Middle School, David and Camden.
Pump it up, pump it up, pump it up.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you guys so much, and thank you for being here with us tonight. Mr. Jenkins, will you lead us in prayer?
I'll be glad to. Our gracious Heavenly Father, I want to acknowledge your presence here amongst us and ask you to continue to bless our superintendent, all the staff that spend so many hours keeping the doors open and classrooms cool, and for our teachers that work so hard and are so diligent to work with these students, and a special prayer for all our students, God. We acknowledge the importance of your presence and the depth that you can bring to help raise up these kids to live a life that you created them to live. So we ask you that you bless this evening, bless and give us wisdom to make the decisions that we need to make. And it's in your Son's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. Now we will need an approval on our minutes for the February 23rd board meeting.
I'll make the motion that we approve the minutes from our February board meeting.
I'll
Thank
second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All those in favor of approving the minutes for our February 23rd board meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are approved. Now we will move to Ms. McElveen for our Lawrence Middle School report.
So for those who don't know me, I am Tiffany McElveen. This is my second year at Lawrence Middle School. This is just an update on all the great things that's going on at Lawrence Middle. Currently, of course, we have 343 students at Lawrence Middle serving 6th, 7th, and 8th grade and Montessori. A couple of things we are working on is our school improvement goals. And if you look at the screen, we have about 6 different goals that we're working on all of the school year. Our first one is our school academic performance, PLCs, professional learning committees, student-centered school, community connections, coaching cycles for our new teachers, and a positive school culture and climate. If you look here, you'll see 2 different reports from the school report card. In 2023-24, the overall rating for Lawrence Middle was below average at a score of 31. And last year, we increased our score to 36, which put us at an average rating. So Lawrence Middle School, as of right now, is going in the right direction. Looking at our professional learning committees, we fine-tuned a couple of things. Here are just a few of them. Tier 1 instruction, just good, best instructional practices. Analyzing map data. I think before it's always been in existence of analyzing map data, but now they know why, and we dive deep into map data, which then in turn reflects our best teacher practices and, of course, teaching teachers how to analyze their own data. Teacher reflection. So this week, Teaching and Learning, actually the last week in March, the week of the 31st, Teaching and Learning will be joining Lawrence Middle School, and they will get to see our teachers record themselves. Oftentimes, we have teachers who don't see the habits that they have. even if we tell them. So we wanted them to record themselves. This is just for themselves, so they can see themselves teaching and they can make adjustments as needed. And of course, the state pushed out Teacher Navigator, which our teaching and learning department or the district holistically is all about data, and our teachers were able to utilize and use teacher navigation to learn and analyze data for every last one of our students, and specifically their students within their classes. Student-centered classroom in school. This year we took a little bit different approach. Instead of me making the morning announcements, we charged that to students. So even these two who announced the Pledge of Allegiance, they serve on our student morning news. We have great advisors who creates the script for them every day. And Faye Coley, who's actually attended and critiqued them and gave them constructive feedback so they can direct their own news. They tell everything that's going on Lawrence Middle. They make their own videos throughout, which we then advertise throughout the building. As when anybody comes to our classroom, we have classroom greeters. They tell what they're learning for the day, their success criteria, what is the goal by the end of that particular class period. We have student-led clubs. Of course, kids are very opinionated, and they will tell you exactly what they need. All you have to do is listen. So we have some clubs started at Lawrence Middle School that is all student-led, and of course, our student incentives. So this year, if you look in the top right, you will see our student planners. In the field of education, we know that students need to learn how to just be organized learners overall. So we help purchase student agendas so they can write their assignments down, etc., and analyze their data. They're also responsible for analyzing their own map data and coming up with a goal from forward for the remainder of the year. Also, the remaining pictures are our student leaders. They're greeting members of the teaching and learning department. You'll also see some teachers doing coaching cycles. You'll see some faculty-student interactions as well. Community connections. So this year, we reached out to United Way. They've come inside the school. They helped us tremendously this year. We had the Safe House as well. We also had iRise come in, which is a community organization that's also student-led. And then, of course, our local churches who are faithfully there, every day, but specifically every Wednesday morning. The Good News Club and Boys Club that meet every Wednesday morning. And then, of course, going back to our coaching cycles, how are we retaining our teachers? We put all our teachers in year 1 and year 2. We train them on a book study. We meet during school hours. During academy time, we find them coverage. And we talk specifically, if you can't manage your classroom, you can't teach them. You'll spend all day correcting student behavior. And this is just a small group of teachers, again, year 1 and year 2, that is led by me, the assistant principal, Courtney Jackson, and our master teacher, which is Robin O'Brien. We do a book study every week, or usually we try not to do every week. We'll do every other week, depending on the schedule and the holiday breaks. Of course, just to teach them how to manage their classroom. We then go back inside their classrooms to see if they've made those necessary adjustments. And more importantly, we've had those one-on-one conversations to make sure we can answer directly one-on-one any classroom needs or behaviors that they're seeing, or just in case they need help navigating how to help their students inside their classroom. This is even before learning begins. But of course, we meet monthly, quite frequently, just to make sure they're continuous managing their particular classroom. Our school culture, of course, this is just a snip picture of a majority of our faculty and staff. We took this in the very first day of school. If you look at the school report card, you will see our school climate. It's increasing anytime there's a principal turnover. You guys know they're trying to get used to it. They don't know what to partake of a new principal. But again, at the end of the 24-25 school year, the school climate has increased, and the data supports that. We're headed in the right direction. And then last but not least, every year I start off with a slogan. It is just this year, we're moving as one. We're not just one person, one grade level, one team. We're all together holistically as an LMS family. And that's all I have for Lawrence Middle School. Any questions?
They need to give you a raise.
Oh, I will graciously take one.
Thank you, Ms. McElvain.
Thank you, Ms. Mike.
swing lessons.
All right, in light of a couple of things that we have on the agenda tonight, we chose to move public participation so we could hear the voices before we go into any discussions amongst ourselves or take any votes. So tonight, we'll go ahead and start with public participation at this time. We've had 2 people sign up, and I'm just going to read our statement that we read every time we do have someone speak. Individuals who submitted the required form for the public participation portion of the meeting are strongly encouraged to maintain appropriate decorum while addressing the board. Please remember that this is a meeting of a public school board, and children may either be in attendance or watching via live stream. Please use appropriate language reflecting the nature of the meeting and its audience. Pursuant to Board Policy BEDH, speakers may offer objective comments on school operations and programs that concern them. The board will not permit in any public session any expression of personal complaints about school personnel nor against any person connected with the school system. And so at this time, I'm just going to call in order that they signed up is Ms. Miller. And you do have 3 minutes.
South Carolina is considered a national leader in public Montessori education. Lawrence helped build that reputation. Tonight, we're asking you to make sure we don't become the district that lets the legacy disappear. Good evening. My name is Christina Miller, and I'm a primary Montessori teacher at E.B. Morris Elementary, a new adjunct for Lander University's Montessori program, a South Carolina Montessori Alliance board member, but most importantly, a Montessori parent. I have a real investment in this important program in Lawrence 55. At a recent reconfiguration meeting, a high school teacher mentioned that she can often tell which students came from the Montessori program because they struggle to sit quietly through long lectures. And honestly, I was elated because that's exactly what Montessori is designed to do. Montessori education prepares students to be independent thinkers, students who question, explore, and engage actively in their learning rather than passively receiving information. In Montessori classrooms, teachers are not the sole keepers of knowledge. In fact, we don't even call ourselves teachers. We are called guides. Our role is to guide students as they connect with knowledge and construct meaning for themselves. This approach is known as constructivist learning. When the district introduced the idea of middle school reconfiguration, we were told it would help address overcrowding, improve class sizes, and allow teachers teaching similar subjects to collaborate. Collaboration is essential for strong teaching. But currently, within our Montessori program, collaboration is nearly impossible. Across multiple schools, we often have only one Montessori teacher per level, which leaves educators isolated and limits the growth of the program and refinement of the philosophy. Contrary to Montessori practice, I had to assign you homework as my time here is limited. And I have a cute assistant that will pass out a packet to you in just a few minutes. But included in your packet is a 1-page document identifying key components of Montessori education according to the American Montessori Society. I invite you to thumb through the folder at a convenient time to compare the hallmark components to our program, as well as read numerous letters from parents, teachers, students, and alumni. South Carolina is a national leader in public Montessori education. A major multi-year study conducted by the Raleigh Institute at Furman University, the most comprehensive study of public Montessori in the United States, found that Montessori students in South Carolina often show strong academic growth, even among low-income populations, as well as positive outcomes in areas like creativity, social development, and work habits. That study is also included in your packet. In fact, our state has more public Montessori programs than almost anywhere in the country, with programs in dozens of districts serving thousands of students. Lawrence County was part of that leadership. Visionaries like Nancy Thompson and Ed Taylor believed our children deserve an educational approach grounded in child development and built through the scientific method by a scientist, not simply a purchased curriculum. If you didn't know, the Montessori philosophy is the only educational philosophy scientifically designed through the scientific method of observation, hypothesis, experimentation, and analysis. Because Montessori is not a curriculum. It's a pedagogy, a way of teaching that centers on how children actually learn and grow. Tonight, our Montessori team is asking you to remember this program during reconfiguration to help ensure it continues to thrive. Supporting the program would include, if reconfiguration occurs, keeping the 6th grade Montessori graders at Lawrence Middle School with their 7th and 8th grade classmates. Ensure all teachers in Montessori programs obtain Montessori certification, preferably before entering the classroom. Develop a strategic plan to grow the program, plan for succession of trained teachers, funding for material replacement and professional development, and participate in verification of fidelity through accredited Montessori groups. Our ultimate team's goal would be to create a magnet program with all Montessori levels together so teachers can collaborate and strengthen the program.
Ms. Miller, thank you for speaking tonight. Anything that you didn't get to share, you're welcome to email that to the board or include that in the information you would like to give us. And you can give any information to Ms. Branham, and she'll make sure that we receive it after the meeting. Thank you for speaking tonight.
Pump it up, pump it up, pump it up, pump it up.
And next we'll have Ms. Morrison.
Pump it up, Ms. Martin.
Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Thank you for this opportunity. I am delighted to stand before you again tonight. My name is Elma Coleman Morrison. I was born and reared in Lawrence County. I graduated from Sanders High School over on Green Street. I moved away from here after graduation. I attended Cortez Peters Business School in Maryland. I came back to Lawrence 26 years ago. And I saw a need for unity, a need for helping our parents and our teachers, our students. I applied for a job at Lawrence District 55. I was hired. I worked for 15 years as parents, as teachers, which was a great program for Lawrence District 55, which means we went into homes and taught parents how to instruct their children from conception until they're ready to go to school. This is a little background about me. But I'm standing here tonight because a few months ago, Dr. Finland came around a few weeks ago and gave us some tidbits about changing in our school structure, which means they're about to change sixth graders. All Lawrence County schools, sixth graders will be going to Sanders Middle School. That will be the only school that they will be attending for 1 year. They're going to leave the fifth grade and go directly to Sanders Middle School. Have you ever seen families with different age, they got different age kids, how they learn from each other? How can all sixth graders learn from each other? What is the real point of making Sanders a sixth grade class only? We just spent X amount of dollars building a science lab at Sanders Middle School.
You pump it up.
How long and how much is that science and that additional wing is going to be used with just sixth graders? Now, grant you not, Sanders is not in the best of the community. It doesn't have flooring houses, and the roads are really bad, no sidewalks, and most of the kids are bused in and rolled out. A few walk to school. But it's our school. It's in our community. It brings community together. It builds community. It doesn't tear down. When you take away the sixth and seventh and eighth graders from Sanders Middle School, you're going to take away the athletic department, the other sports configuration. So that's going to bring lesser people in the community together.
That's the plan.
We're looking for unity and love now, not division. So I am standing here on behalf of all sixth graders, parents and students, to beg the board, as you think about this, as you make your decision, please consider that school stands for over 100 or some odd years and has a light there. It's a beacon for the community. It brings revenues into the school. Those basketball games, football games, it helps. We want to build a football field so our kids will have everything that other kids have. We feel like the little left out children over there.
Right.
We don't have the equality that all the other schools. When we have to pack up and come over on the other side of town to play a game, we have to bring everything with us. Nobody else has to do that. So think about what you are doing. How is it going to benefit District 55? What is it going to do to the children? what impact is it gonna have on the parents who have kids rather at different schools? It's a lot to be considered. So we're asking you tonight, please, as you consider this, don't take away Saturday Middle School.
Thank you, Ms. Morrison.
Stop the
Thank you, Ms.
nigger
Morrison.
game. Good job. Hallelujah, man. Stop the nigger game, if that's what you're playing.
We're not going to have that language in here. You can step out if you're going. We're not going to have that language in here. You can step out or you cannot use that language.
Well, if I go out, you got protests coming every day, sister.
And just don't use appropriate language,
You
please.
stop playing the game. You
All right,
playing
now
the
we're going to
game.
turn
And
to
you're playing.
the
You're playing
superintendent's
the
report.
game.
All right, so as part of
Racism.
all right, so as part of my update, I wanted to share some of the meetings that we have been having over the past few weeks. Actually, February and March. So the vision and mission this is what we're going to be talking about in a few minutes. You know, that was our work session to really pull that information back together. So just kind of wanted to reiterate the number of meetings that we've had and the groups that we've met with to develop our new vision and mission. Facility town halls. In your packet, you have a handout that is the sheet that we've been sharing at the town halls. We have another one with tomorrow morning with retired educators here at the district office, and we also have another one on March the 26th, which is Thursday night in Waterloo. This has really been a focus of really looking at, you know, pushing out the board-approved kind of movement of where we're headed with looking at how we have addressed the facility needs, where we need to go, what each school needs, and looking at that type of information and getting providing an opportunity for the community to ask questions during that time. Also, with the Sanders grade configuration discussion, these are the meetings that we've had. The February 10th meeting was with Sanders and Lawrence Middle School teachers. We also had a February 24th at the Sanders Alumni and Community meeting. We also had the March 5th where we had 6th and 7th grade parents at Sanders Middle, which also included the the Lawrence Middle students, parents also. And also on March 9th, we had a 5th grade parent meeting here to have input and provided that information. In a little bit in my presentation, I'll be providing information that was gathered, the questions that were gathered, and also the proposal that we'll be moving, that we'll be discussing tonight. I did also want to make you aware that we have been in conversations on our performance contract. Dr. Harris mentioned this to you last month or the month before about our performance contract. We are, based on the evaluation and criteria set forth in the RFP, the administration will be issuing an intent to award to Schneider Electric for the district's guaranteed energy savings contract to develop and implement a guaranteed energy savings program. This is not a vote tonight, and this is not an approval by y'all, but what we will be entering is the district will enter an agreement with Schneider to conduct an investment grade audit. And so they'll come in, they'll audit all the schools, they'll look to see what they can provide, and then they'll be coming with a actual recommendation of what that will look like and the plan in probably 4 to 5 months. So that's how long it'll take for that evaluation and audit to happen, to be able to bring that back for a vote to see if that is something that we want to consider and move forward with.
Dr. Penland, is there a cost associated with that action?
There's not a cost associated with this part of this.
Right. Thank you very much.
Yep. All right. Any other questions? All right. A couple of things I wanted to share. District updates. We did have a lot of our students participate in Special Olympics. We had Lawrence High School and Lawrence Middle actually competing. We had a couple of other schools that with Sanders and Hickory Tavern attended our Special Olympics, and this was last Friday, so I had the opportunity to go and watch our student athletes compete, and it was a great day. Again, another day of gorgeous weather, and seeing our students participate and also compete in this event at PC. All right, with attendance, we're also looking at April and June calendars, starting April the 3rd at 3:30, I guess it will be, as spring break will start. and we'll be having our week of spring break, which would be the week of the 6th through the 10th. Also want to just put on your calendar, we will be closed Memorial Day, but also graduation is the 29th. So you'll be getting that information as a board member too. But also wanted to make you aware of during the week of spring break, they'll be doing some power work right here with some transformers, so we won't have actual power in the district office. So that'll be down a few days during that time. We had to partner with CPW to make that available for them. All right, and I'll turn it over to Ms. Lacrose for our continuous improvement plan.
Hello.
Good evening.
So right now I'm talking to you about our continuous improvement plans. I know we talked a little bit about strategic planning earlier, and I do want to just make some of those connections. All of our plans that we create, whether it's the strategic plan, the school renewal plan, or a school improvement plan, they're all connected. And we're looking at the same data, we're headed in the same direction, so we're using these plans to help drive us in the same place rather than 5, 6, 7 different directions and spinning our wheels. So school improvement plans were due to the state at the end of January because of all the snow and things like that. They pushed it out to the first week in February, but this was something that I presented to you back in, I believe it was the January meeting, but it was held in February, where you saw the plans for the 4 schools that needed to submit continuous improvement plans. So you did the board approval. At that time, we have received state approval for each of those 4 school plans, and now we are in the implementation and progress monitoring piece. So each of these 4 schools, Ford, Gray Court Elementary, Lawrence Elementary, and the high school, all have school improvement plans. We also, at the district, although we don't have to have an improvement plan, we are always working to support all of our schools, and especially our schools that have improvement plans. And so therefore we model and we go through the same processes that they go through. And so we too have goals to increase student achievement. These are our ones for English language arts and for math, which connect directly to the goals that each of our schools have. So right now what we are doing, with it being the end of March, this is the first 45 days. We have to do a 45-day progress report. I met with Ford Elementary School last Monday. We went through each of their goals. Their English language arts goal, we are showing that we're showing improvement across all our grade levels in the area of reading, as measured by our map data from fall to winter. So we are definitely showing growth. We need more in order to be able to reach our goal, but that's one thing that we're looking at. We saw the same thing in math. We saw growth in all of our grades except for one grade stayed the same. And so we need, obviously, more growth in math, and we'll continue to work on that. But this is one of the things that we do, and we take a look at each of the action items that we had planned, make sure that we're on track and we're implementing those. And the other goal is for our multilingual learners. Right now, our instructional coach at Ford is providing specific professional development training for all teachers at Ford in how to implement best practices in the classroom, but they're called SIOP, and it's specifically designed to improve learning for all learners, but the research shows it works especially well for our multilingual learners. Things like how do we plan our lessons to make sure that we're very clear about what we want students to know, using visuals, circling back so that they can stay up with the academic content, even if their language might be a little bit of a barrier for them. So they're on track. We'll continue to move forward, and we'll do another 45-day report. The previous Wednesday, I was at Gray Court, and we took a look at theirs. We have added an additional part-time interventionist for them because we had some grant money specifically for that school, that we were able to bring somebody in part-time to work with our grades 3 and 4 because intervention is important. So when we can do and add more, we will. And so we did that at Gray Court at the elementary school to help them, being a school in need of improvement for their reading in specifically 3rd and 4th grade. Each of their math growth in reading and in math indicate they are on track for over 10% improvement
for their students moving from does not meet up to approaching meets or exceeds. So both areas, they're right on track for doing that. So we were really pleased to see that. And you'll notice that Greycourt was 1 point away from being average last year. So if they're able to continue along this track, we anticipate that they will not be a school in need of improvement next year. With that, I will be at Lawrence Elementary School Monday afternoon with their ILT, doing their progress report, and then I will be at the high school this Wednesday morning, doing their progress report. So the next time I'm up here doing progress reports, I'll let you know how they are on track with theirs. So it's just the school improvement process is designed for us to continually look at it and not just write a plan and leave it sitting on a shelf. So that's where we are. I didn't know if anybody had any questions.
Thank you, Ms.
Okay.
Lonkeros.
Yep.
Okay, Dr. Frady.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Good evening.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Penland, members of our community. I am your Director of Technology for Lawrence County School District 55. I'd like to highlight a few things going on in our department for this school year. We are continuing to have a working relationship with South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, the FBI, and our local law enforcement. Currently, we are working with SC KIC with the Safe K-12 program. That is a free program offered by the State Department. I'm actually attending a training tomorrow in Greenville, myself and Caleb Photos. We continue to protect our students and staff while utilizing CrowdStrike, Trustify, and Gaggle. We also back up our data on-site as well as off-site in the event of something catastrophic occurring in this building. This summer, we plan to upgrade our 9th grade student devices as well as our Chromebooks for Ford Elementary School and Sanders. We are serving as a technical support for the new Anderson Drive property as well. Any questions or concerns about that so far? I'd like to recap our SIPA compliance notification we have to do every March. The Children's Internet Protection Act, or SIPA, is a federal act enacted by Congress to address concerns about access to offensive content over the internet on school or library computers. We are compliant in these 3 areas that we must mention each year to stay compliant. First, we have to address our internet safety policy, which we have 3 board policies. The first is IJNDB. Technology resources R1, R2, R3, and R4. The second policy is GBEE. That one is entitled Internet and Electronic Communications. And the last one is GBEEA, and that is social media. Our school district employs eyeballs, web content filtering, CrowdStrike, Falcon, antivirus protection, Palo Alto firewall, Trustify in conjunction with the Cisco umbrella. The second requirement is we must discuss this in public hearing or meeting as we're doing tonight. And lastly, we must monitor when appropriate access to minors, by minors, to inappropriate matter on and off campus. Safety, security of minors when using email and chat. Unauthorized access, including hacking or other unlawful activities. Unauthorized disclosure of personal identifiable information such as name, address, phone number, date of birth, and images. Measures designed to restrict minors' access to harmful material, content deemed inappropriate for minors. All of this is monitoring that is required. Only supervision is required and not specified in general. SIPA does not require tracking of internet usage by identifiable minors or adults, although our school district has that capability. When utilizing Gaggle as a partnership with the South Carolina Critical Infrastructure Cybersecurity Office, and they are a part of SLED. That's all I have, unless you
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Frey.
So the
And your super students. God bless you all.
So the next section on the agenda will be the Lawrence Middle, Sanders Middle reconfiguration recommendation. In your packet, you'll have a realignment proposal that I'll go through and discuss. Also, in your packet, you have a list of all the questions that were received at all of our community meetings and teacher meetings that have been kind of grouped based on topic, and I'll go through and address each one. I mean, not each one of the questions, but each one of those sections. So this will be for board approval or discussion, or however the board wishes to go. So the decision process, rationale, and timeline. So whenever we've started this process, we started out with a teacher meeting and also had our community meetings, and this was the information that I shared earlier with the intent for this recommendation to be presented today to start August 2026. In the Montessori program for the 2026 school year, 6th grade would be a single grade Montessori class at Sanders Middle to utilize the Montessori strategies, philosophy, and the materials with the intent to transition students to be ready for a junior high setting. The 26-27 school year at Lawrence Middle, the 7th and 8th graders will not have Montessori. The classes or courses would transfer to honors level opportunities in a junior high setting. For the 27-28 school year, what happens to Montessori if Sanders becomes a 5th, 6th grade center? So the intent would be to continue Montessori with a curriculum classroom for 5th, 6th graders, and it's also been recommended that we investigate the possibility of the 4th graders coming up to be able to address the plane of development that would be a 4, 5, 6 in the at the Sanders school, but we'd have to reconsider that and look at that based on size and space whenever that moved forward.
You undermined it, Dr. Jones. Now you're trying to undermine
So whenever we're looking at the programs and curriculum, it would be based on gifted and talented. We would like the gifted program to look like. So Sanders, this realignment would allow for more sections of accelerated content. At Lawrence Middle, this realignment would also allow for more sections of acceleration, as well as opportunities to increase the number of high school level coursework that we are able to provide to our middle school students. Students would still have access to clubs, arts, band in 6th grade. And then as we started the athletics, like Miss Morrison said, not Miss Morrison, Miss Miller, Miss Morrison said that we would be reducing the amount of athletics at Sanders, so that would be just 6th grade. Through the South Carolina High School League, 6th graders are not allowed to currently play in athletics, but we would be able to provide more of an opportunity to provide intramurals or different things like that for our 6th graders. The 7th and 8th grade teams would be at Lawrence Middle, and if the number of students interested in athletics would go above that, then we could possibly have 2 teams per sport as we move forward. The goal is to also provide Sanders with a STEM teacher, just like what we've done at our middle elementary schools, to be able to provide the implementation of our STEM activities through our activity courses. We have decided that the STARS class would stay at Sanders, which is a special ed self-contained class, and then the 6th graders would then switch classes either in 2 teacher teams to be able to have a teacher in English math, swapping with a science social studies teacher, or 4-member teams to have a true rotation of all 4 core contents. The staffing and employment, and this was one of the questions that we had with the teachers, was do I still have a job, basically. All certified teachers with continuing contracts would have a job. Teacher certification and school preference would be taken in consideration whenever we're working with HR to be able to place those teachers. Looking at the cafeteria and professionals would be placed on an on-need basis. So we would continue to look at the enrollment and zoning policies that we have. Whenever you're looking at the class enrollment currently, whenever you look at Sanders, the average class size for 6th grade is 17. 7th grade is 18, 8th grade is 20, with the class size for Montessori at Sanders Middle is 18 with only 2 sections. Lawrence Middle current class size is 23 at 6th grade, 21 at 7th grade, 27 at 8th grade, with a combination of 30 and 4 sections of Montessori. So we have a
You ought to be ashamed.
so we have we have very varying numbers of enrollments, and also the class size averages there. So in the 26-27 projected enrollment for the realignment proposal, we'd be looking at Sanders would have 184 sixth graders with the average class size of being 18-19, so you'd be able to combine those students, and so you'd end up with 8 to 10 sections of that. And at Lawrence Middle School, you'd have 175 7th graders, 179 8th graders, with a total of 354 students, which is just 11 students more than they currently have, with a class size averaging of 21-22, having 8 teachers per grade level. That would give you 2 4-member teams at each grade level at Lawrence Middle. Whenever we look at the logistics, branding, and budget, this would be the Sanders Intermediate School, and also the Lawrence Junior High School would be the new names. The mascots would stay the same. Transportation, whenever you're looking at that, would only be probably affected by 5 minutes to be able to drop and then get across about a 2-mile piece of property to drop off the next set of kids. The start and ending date times we would have to stagger a little bit to be able to accommodate for buses and also parent drop-off and pickup. This reconfiguration would not require any additional funding. However, this would be able to provide, whenever we're talking in town halls, that this information would, if we're able to transfer the 5th graders in year 2, then those classrooms would be freed up at Lawrence Elementary, E.B. Morris, and Ford, which would reduce about a $2 to $3 million construction need at each one of those locations. So the actual savings in this reconfiguration and realignment would come for the need for additions versus an immediate savings based on personnel.
Protest on the way, sir.
And so whenever we're looking at Sanders facility and the investment, so where our goal is not to close Sanders, our goal is to utilize Sanders in a better, better opportunities. So over the past 3 years, the district has invested over $5 million in Sanders. We've added an additional wing, 4 classrooms, 1 science lab, which also had a workroom and some administrative space. We were able to secure a new entry, new gates around the cafeteria, and also ramp up grades and covered walkways. For the 2026-27 year, we would be looking at upgrading the upper wing, which is the older section of the school, and we would be looking to update that so that we would be able to be ready for 5th grade students in the 27-28 school year. So that would be the that's the proposal that I'm putting out there, and so I would now like to open up for questions. You see the questions that we had kind of combined, and I did kind of address most of those questions through the presentation.
Make Lawrence Middle School the 6th grade thing. I just want to say, you told me that you wanted to be a community healer.
Yep.
And I told you straight up, that wasn't going to heal the community. Now, you just stood up here and told me about these class sizes and stuff, but you told the community at Sanders that you okayed 70 transfers from Sanders to Lawrence Middle. So you knew that outcome was going to happen. Those were your words, not mine.
So whenever, let me kind of paraphrase what Mr. Carpenter is saying, is that we have an in-district transfer system or a out-of-district transfer system, and so through our transfer opportunities of school choice, being able to go where you would like to go, there are 70 students at Lawrence Middle that are not zoned for Lawrence Middle. 50 of those are zoned for Sanders. And so whenever you're looking at the 50 students that that permission was granted, either based on teacher enrollment, so wherever our teachers work, we've been able to provide that information, and we typically allow our teachers to be granted transfers. And we've also been able to grant other transfers based on, you know, the school choice of where they wanted to go.
Well, it doesn't make sense to dissipate those students' morale, because that's exactly what you're going to be doing. And we're supposed to be building up that morale. So you got to know, if you combine those two schools, Sanders, the kids that play in Sanders is gone. It's not going to be no fairness, and you know that.
I don't see the quality of students that whenever you have an undefeated basketball team at Sanders this year, that those students wouldn't be eligible. It wouldn't be our highest quality players that we don't know that. I mean, because just because she works at one doesn't mean she couldn't work at, coach at another.
You can see the configuration when you go to Ron Middle. You're a crew coach, you see that. You know, but I'm saying, well, you got, 30 kids on each football team?
Mm-hmm.
You don't do it down to 30.
So we've also looked at how that happens.
Basketball, you know, those numbers are set. So you're doing away with the whole team.
And as in the proposal, I said if we have more students come out, that we could possibly have 2 teams per athletic season. So just like Clennon does with Clennon Middle School, they have a red team and a white team, that they have a 2 different teams. So, and I was talking about Clennon Middle, which is not Clennon, which is not Bell Street.
Well, it seems like to me you turning your backside to the whole thing. Because they told you they did not want that, and you determined to go on with it anyway. And as I told them that night,
Bringing a new school.
you know, if you bring that board
Oh, yeah, protest all over
it's going to pass. And I'm quite sure you're confident of that.
I'm not confident of it passing. So.
Well, you ask everybody how they feel about it, which number one is wrong, because you're not supposed to poll on the vote. But you've asked everybody how they feel about it. So
He said he talked to each
lining up.
school board member, that's what you said.
But
You said you talked to each school board meeting.
my bottom line, I'm against it, and I hope other board members can see that, because it's not good for the community.
Okay.
And also the Montessori, let me get an understanding, it will not be for the 7th and 8th grade in the 26-27
That's
year?
correct.
You will not offer it?
That's correct.
And parents was okay with that at the schools that you went to?
I had probably 5 parents that addressed it with, and only 2 of them or 3 of them were against it.
So you said 6th grade will have Montessori at Sanders?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's the only way they can get the 6th grade Montessori will be at Sanders,
Right.
because
With
it
the
will not
intent
be
of-
offered.
With the intent of being able to add 5th grade the following year. So it would be a 5th, 6th grade combination the following year.
So the district is not concerned about Montessori program?
Yes, ma'am. We still support and provide Montessori in primary, which we offer primary for 3-year-olds.
Right.
All the way up through currently 8th grade. The 3-year-olds, we do not draw any funding. The half-day students, we do not draw any funding. So we put a lot of money into our primary Montessori classrooms. Also, all of our Montessori classrooms that are 1st through middle school have assistants that other classrooms do not. So we have a vested interest in what Montessori looks like and how we fund that. So we're not pushing that to a side. We're not cutting the program for 3-year-olds through 5th grade, 6th grade, and so that would be how we would continue that.
But the 7th and 8th grade, you're not offering it next year.
You're proposing that I offered to Dr. Finley, since it was just Sanders, Lawrence Middle, and Ford, and Ford doesn't house any team. I said, why not send the 6th grade to Ford?
So that would displace 430 students. Okay.
Send those kids out, because you would diversify the other schools by doing that.
So if we moved all 6th graders to Ford, that's 430 elementary kids that we would have to place in other locations, and without having,
3 schools.
no, just from Ford. Ford's enrollment is 430.
Okay.
So that's 5K, 4K, all the way through 5th grade.
So what 6th graders will be coming to Sanders?
So the 6th graders coming to Sanders would be Ford students, would be Lawrence Elementary, and would be EB.
EB.
E.B. Morris Elementary.
Now, what you think when you see the protest? What do you think the white parents gonna do then? When you see the protest? and
So
I say,
what classes have it's been determined that we would replace Montessori
So the
with?
sixth graders will be feeding from those three elementary schools. So the sixth grade would only be probably 10 kids from Waterloo, and because some of them are zoned for Sanders and some of them are zoned for Eager Tavern. So basically 10 of the fifth graders at Waterloo would be coming to Sanders, and then all the sixth graders that would be zoned currently for Lawrence Middle and Sanders. So looking back at that enrollment component, we'd be looking at 184 sixth graders coming from those three elementary schools, 4 if you count the 10 from Waterloo.
You get ready to see protests like you never seen before.
So what would be the total enrollment at Sanders for sixth graders?
The total enrollment would be the 184.
Mr. Tiller got the Humpty Dump.
So what classes, if Montessori would go away for 7th and 8th grade, what classes have been determined that could be offered for students that want to take something?
And so whenever we're looking at the number of classes would be more of a instructional opportunities for those kids. I don't have the course codes because some of the courses at the high school are allowed to be offered at a middle school, some are not. Most of those would be outside of the geometry and the English 1 would be a lot of the elective classes, like we've been able to offer Spanish in the past. We've been able to offer computer classes and that type of thing. So we would be looking to see who we would have certified to be able to offer those additional classes at Lawrence Middle.
I do think that maybe it's possible that we get a full implementation plan that can be reviewed versus, several of the bullet points that you have listed, or these are things that we'll look into or that we'll consider or that we might do. And some parents, I'm guessing, if we could guarantee, yes, we're going to have intramural sports. Yes, there are students going to be able to play. A sport would be okay, but then others would probably not be pleased. So, but those are things like it seems like there's some questions that we don't have answers for. And I'm not going to lie, I do fear that the Montessori program, if we start pulling it back, because we did already start that and moving it from certain schools. So not all schools have Montessori, not all schools have all grades for Montessori's, that we would maybe slowly deteriorate that program to where we wouldn't.
We currently have
Have a base
3
for it.
upper Montessori sections in the district. And so I think there's 33 or 34 current 5th grade Montessori students. So we don't have as many people selecting Montessori in the lower L, and that we had to kind of phase those out over the past several years in some of our elementary schools.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I'm having to reach back historically to think about when my 5 kids, all of them went through the Montessori. And by the time they got to that 7th and 8th grade, because of the classes and how Montessori functions, it's hard to do that in the environment that we have here because of getting prepped and moving on to the high school. That it basically became, you just stayed with a classroom and you moved to go do math here, and you did science here, you did social studies here. Whereas, correct me if I'm wrong, Montessori, the whole idea is that you have multiple grades together, but that's not really what was happening in the 7th and 8th grade level. Because of how you were teaching math and science was different than what the Montessori program.
due to selection of the English 1, Algebra 1,
Yeah.
which is now geometry, it did group our kids in a more honors level track that would kind of group larger numbers of kids that would be harder to kind of divide out in those sections after that. So that was one of the hindrances for our middle school, especially 7th and 8th graders.
You don't sound too bright, say, be a superintendent.
I could make a suggestion that we table this until next month in light of the information that Ms. Miller presented and Ms. Morris, and we weren't able to see all the information that Ms. Miller has. If anybody else agrees. And vote on it in April.
I would agree with that.
I
mean,
agree.
I have not had one single parent or community member reach out to me in regards to this. I would love to hear from you. My telephone number and my email is on the district website. Now is the time to reach out to your community and your board members to speak up as to what it is you want in this situation.
I do think it's difficult for parents to get to the evening meetings, especially the grade groups that we're looking to. So I had briefly mentioned this at one point, but maybe a survey to see what parents are interested in as it relates to both schools. So, but I agree to
Ms. Kidd,
table it for a moment.
I was certainly, I thought, ready to make a vote tonight, but in light of the new information that we received, I do think that we need to table this to next month.
Well, can I make a motion?
Yeah.
Well, I make a motion that we table this discussion on further research.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor of tabling our discussion for SMS and LMS reconfiguration, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fenton.
All right.
Now we move on to board operations and Dr. Fenton.
Before we leave, I just want to make a comment, though. I'm sorry. I want to appreciate all the effort that our superintendent and other people have done to try to rearrange our facilities to maximize them, to help put our kids in the best place where they can learn. I don't think this has anything to do with any racism or any to break things up at all. I think we're trying to utilize the best that we can with the facilities that we have, and I appreciate all the time and effort that has been put into this. This has not been an easy thing, and so just thanks for the hard work.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so the next item on the agenda will be the schedule of the board meetings, the 26, 27. In your packet, you'll see the anticipated board meetings. We do have a few of those marked tentative based on the homecoming schedule. Once we get that, we'll be able to solidify if we need to bump that, because a few years in a row, we have had a board meeting on the same day as the homecoming parade. And so we just want to make sure that we stay away from those. This will be for board approval.
Any questions regarding the board meeting schedule? So we will need a motion to approve the 26, 27 schedule of board meetings that's in front of us.
I make a motion to approve the 26, 27 schedule of school board meetings.
A second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the 26, 27 schedule of board meetings, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Passes.
All right, so I'll go ahead and ask Miss Amanda Lackarose to come up and talk to us about the vision and mission statements. Thank you.
So just to give some background context, every 5 years, every school district in the state of South Carolina is required to do a new strategic plan. Part of the strategic planning process is to engage stakeholders in a variety of ways to gather their input on where they would like to see the district go in the next 5 years, and what they would like to see out of the district as far as outcomes and things like that. So we have started the strategic planning process. We began the way back in January. We did a survey. In the month of January, we had close to 700 people respond to that survey and give us feedback on what they would like to see for a vision and a mission for the school district. We had a steering committee that was representative of a variety of district stakeholders, parents, community people, students, teachers, administrators, and they met and drafted a first draft of a vision and mission statement. Then we went out to focus groups. We had some community focus groups and on some evenings and on a Saturday morning. We had each of the schools met with staff as well as their school improvement councils to get feedback on those initial drafts. We brought it back to the steering committee, and then the steering committee finalized the vision and mission that's sitting in front of you now. We did a little work session prior to this meeting where the board saw that vision and mission, and then we went and discussed the goal ideas and thresholds that the steering committee had talked through when we met back in March. And so today I'm bringing to you the vision and the mission for approval from the school board, and then we also set some thresholds for the goals for the strategic plan for the next 5 years, which we all did before this meeting during the work session. So the vision and mission, the way that it is presented, is building a 5-star district of excellence. Lawrence School District 55 encourages students to be college, career, and/or military ready through learning experiences supported by engaged staff, families, and community. These will be the driving force for all goals and action steps for the strategic plan. It will also be the driving force for all school renewal plans that are also being written at this time. They are redoing their vision and mission statements and will also be setting goals based on the goals that you all just set tonight with our discussion prior to this. So really the next step is for the district then to take those goals that you set today and develop action plans, and then we begin implementing those. And of course, we do have to submit this to the state on April 30th. So,
Did you come to the,
All right, thank you, Ms. Lacrose.
did you come to our
Does anyone have any questions? This,
I didn't know that
Mr. Hughes, this is what we talked about on the work session.
That's not fair.
So if you have any questions to, you have anything? Anybody else? All right, so Ms. Lacrose has presented the new vision mission statement for Lawrence District 55, and she is requesting that we approve this as this vision and mission statement is presented for the 2631 Lawrence School District 55 strategic plan.
A lot of people that come
So
in.
if you would, if anyone would like to make a motion.
Yeah, I make a motion that we approve the vision and mission statement as presented in the 2026-2031 Lawrence School District 55 strategic plan.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All right. All those in favor of approving the vision and mission statements as presented for the 2026-2031 Lawrence School District 55 strategic plan, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Statements are passed. Thank you, Ms. Lacrose.
All right, so we have a few first reading policies, and we also have some administrative rules that I'll go through in our next packet. So administrative rule DKA-R, employment compensation and payment schedules. This was something that we needed to put in place, especially for non-employees whenever we're looking at assignments based on athletic compensation, or there's other components that would be paid for. So you can see that anytime somebody gets a stipend or also some form of extra duty pay, that would be paid for to the employees as an added to their regular monthly pay and distributed in equal payments. But whenever we have non-employees that most of the time are coaches, it'll be basically for seasonal assignments and paid at the conclusion of the specific season. We had some confusion this time that our winter people were not going to get paid until spring, so we were just kind of pushing that out that the athletic seasons would finish in fall, winter, and spring, and as soon as that athletic season is over, then they would be eligible for pay. Year-long assignments will be paid twice a year, and short-term assignments will be paid once the service was complete. So that is Administrative Rule DKA. Any questions on that one? All right, the next one is you have a policy GCK for first reading, professional staff assignments and transfers. This one and GCK-R will also go for first reading, but that's also administrative rule. This one cleans up our current policy to mirror the Educational Assistance Act legislation that was passed back in July, for us to be able to clean up as we get ready for, starting the school year for next year, to be able to address the timelines for when teachers have to be receiving their placement for their assignments and that type of information. So this one is just for first reading, so that is just for your information, and we'll take second reading next month. Also, in the, policy GCC, professional staff leaves and absences, this is also for first reading. The only change in this one is 3 pages back. This one basically addresses the transfer of sick leave. A staff member or agency transferring to any district in the state, or the district staff member transferring to a state agency may transfer what used to read all sick leave. So that was basically when somebody would come to us from a different agency, they may have 120 sick days built up. We only allow 90 days to be built up in the system, so this would only allow them to bring forward the maximum that we allow to have us. Part of that issue was that we were then on the hook for the paying out of the 30 extra days. So that was not acquired through us, but it was this way that it allows for us to only allow to come in the maximum number that we provide. So that will be for first reading, and that's the only change in policy GCC. The last one is a COVID-related administrative rule. In the actual policy, it had an end date to end June 30th, 2023. We're just notifying that we're going to remove that policy administrative rule from our policy manual.
Did you do policy GCK?
Yes, GCK and GCK-R are both
The same.
the same one.
Assignment
One's just
transfers. Okay,
right,
gotcha.
and one's just an administrative rule that's assigned to that. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. All right.
So when the COVID reappears,
If COVID reappears, then y'all can come back with another another policy
It's gonna be another
that will probably not look like this one. All right. Any questions on those? And then I'll turn it over to Ms. Leanne London for our financial report.
I'm here to present the financial information for the month of February. You will see that our balance with this treasurer stands at $14,397,937. You'll notice a large difference between this time last year. Last year, during the month of February, the $3 million that we normally transfer for payroll cleared, the March amount cleared during the month of February. So that's the $3 million kind of difference there. We stand at revenues for the year of $42,194,855, and our expenditures year to date are $35,638,389. So that puts us at net income of $6,556,497. During the month of February, we had tax collections of just below $2 million. Our tax collections are starting to taper off during February. We collect most of them during the month of January. You will also notice a credit amount for the fee in lieu. I reached out to the county about that, and they're telling me that there was an appeal during the month, so they had a refund given. Moving on to the revenue comparison.
I'm sorry,
Yes, sir.
so how does the county then send a bill to us for $32,000? Is that what happened?
These are collections. So we had a taxpayer that pays the fee in lieu rather than based on the millage and the property, and there was some sort of appeal, and so they received some sort of refund for the month.
But I guess my point is, so we can assume in next month that $32,000 will be balanced out then. So we, in essence, we owe the county $32,000 because of.
But we don't owe it. They just deducted. They
Right.
just deducted it from what they gave us.
But my point is that next month they're going to collect that $32,000.
Based on whatever the appeal was. I didn't get the specifics.
Yeah, I'm
of
just
the
saying
appeal.
they're going to get that money.
So
Yeah,
they
we're
keep,
going to. I mean, I understand that.
so they keep our money in the bank for us, and so it's basically just it's not that they have sent us that money and we have to return it. It's they
Okay.
just are changing it into the bank ledger for us, kind of that type of
Okay.
what they have on hold for us to send.
Okay. So moving on to the revenues for the year, we are at 42,194,855. So we've collected about 71% of our revenue year to date. And then our expenditures, we have a goal remaining of 33%. We're actually at 40%. Year-to-date expenditures are coming in at $35,638,000, and we still have $24 million left to spend for the year. Anyone have any questions for me? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Ms.
you.
London. Okay, with that, next on our agenda is to move to executive session to discuss the various items that are listed. We will need a motion
I make
to
a motion, we
do
move
that.
to executive session.
I'll second.
Thank you.
And I would like to request Dr. Harris and Ms. Madden to join us.
All right. Any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, we're moving to executive session.
I won't say.
Okay. All right, it's 8:27. I'll call us back to order. We do have a couple of things to attend to from the executive session. We will have 2 lists to approve. If we could get a motion to approve.
3 lists.
Well, there's 3 lists, but we're going to do 2 votes. How about that?
Yeah.
We're going to approve List A and resignations. So if we could get a motion for that.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the List A and the resignations.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions, discussion? All those in favor of approving List A and our resignation list, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and the next list is List B. So if we could get a motion to approve List B.
I make a motion that we approve List B.
Second.
Any questions, concerns? All those in favor of approving List B, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. And with no further business on our agenda, I will adjourn us. Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all have a good night.
Uh-huh.